Before we immerse ourselves in today's captivating tale, let me share a gentle reminder. It's intriguing to think that more than 90% of those who find themselves captivated by our videos have yet to join our community. If this story resonates with you, I invite you to subscribe and show your appreciation with a like. Your support nurtures our channel, allowing us to share more captivating content with you each week. I truly appreciate your support. I have always been a woman grounded in reality, skeptical of the enchanting stories that promise happily ever after. I never envisioned a fairy tale with a dashing prince or a majestic castle perched upon a distant hill. What I have always yearned for is a serene existence, alongside a companion I can rely on, in a sanctuary brimming with joy and tranquility. When I encountered Mark, I believed I had discovered that connection. His warmth enveloped me, his charm drew me in, and his laughter resonated in my heart like a sweet melody. He exuded a quiet confidence, a serene aura that wrapped around me like a warm embrace, making me feel cherished and secure. Our paths crossed in a bookshop of all places. He suggested a novel that I ultimately found unappealing, yet the dialogue we shared about it lingered in my mind far longer than the tale itself. 2 years later, we exchanged vows and began our journey together. The gathering was intimate, filled with the warmth of close friends and family. I found beauty in simplicity. I longed for devotion, authenticity, and a sense of grounding. For a time, I believed I possessed everything I desired. We settled into a quaint home in the suburbs, and I began a part-time role at a nearby community center. He held a position in the bustling heart of the city, endless hours apart, yet he always returned to me. At least that was my conviction. The signs, as always, whispered softly in the beginning. A change in his voice, a momentary pause when I inquired about his day. He once opened his heart to me completely. The frustrating client, the delightful coffee he discovered, the way the train lingered in the tunnel, creating a moment of stillness. Yet a hush enveloped the space. He seemed increasingly weary, his focus drifting away. I placed the blame on the job. I longed to trust completely, to embrace the warmth of love without doubt. I had friends who transformed every late text or missed call into a moment of turmoil, and I had promised myself I would never become that kind of partner. In quiet anticipation, I lingered. I found reasons to understand him when he had to cancel our plans. I gently urged him to take a moment for himself when he expressed his weariness, suggesting that perhaps silence could be a comforting companion for now. I once decided to surprise him at work with a lovely lunch, but to my disappointment, he wasn't there. The receptionist mentioned that he had decided to take a half-day off. That evening, when I inquired about it, he softly mentioned that he had an urgent meeting away from the usual place. I yearned to trust him, and so I embraced that feeling. It was only when I discovered the receipt tucked away in his jacket pocket that everything began to change. An elegant dining establishment in an unfamiliar part of the city, waiting to be explored. A location I had spoken of before. A dream I hold close to my heart, one I longed to experience. He had mentioned that it was beyond his means. The date on the receipt mirrored the very night he said he was toiling away at work. I held my silence for a moment. I carefully preserved the receipt, folding it with intention before tucking it away in my journal. That was the moment I began to observe with greater intensity. I chose not to pry or intrude. I watched closely. The warmth of his smile as he typed a message. The soft, soothing hum that lingers after his evening showers. The unexpected allure of a fragrance he had never embraced before. He was drifting away, and I was finally aware of it. I never imagined I would find myself in a situation where betrayal touched my life. Not because I considered myself flawless, but because I felt a deep understanding of my husband. Our past was woven with shared moments. We shared our moments. Whispers of shared laughter. Yet, those obstacles could not deter him. They failed to shield me. They held less significance than I once believed. And though the urge to confront him with passion and intensity surged within me, a quiet voice urged me to pause and reflect, to behold, to immerse myself in knowledge before taking a step forward. One evening, he allowed his laptop to remain open, inviting a sense of intimacy in the air. He had stepped out for an evening with a client. I was aware of the truth within me. I wished him a wonderful time and pressed a gentle kiss to his cheek, as if everything was perfectly ordinary. After he departed, I found myself at the kitchen table, gently opening his laptop and exploring the pages of his browser. It was left unguarded. He had left his tabs untouched. Messages lay open, inviting and unguarded. Correspondence exchanges. Invitations that beckon with promise. Reservations for an intimate dinner. And images. Subtle yet revealing, it conveyed all the insights I sought. She was known as Jessica. She was employed at a firm close by. More youthful. Golden tresses. A woman who shared playful memes with him during meetings and captured moments of herself in hotel lobbies. She whispered his name, D. A wave of discomfort washed over me. Yet tears did not fall. I gently closed the laptop, brewed a warm cup of tea, and settled into the stillness of the living room. Memories of our conversations from the past few months danced through my mind. In each fleeting moment, I found myself questioning my instincts, choosing instead to embrace the possibility of trust in him. I found myself still at peace. A chill enveloped me. Numbers danced in my thoughts, outpacing the rhythm of my feelings. Yet there was one truth that resonated within me. I refused to let myself unravel for someone who can weave deceit so effortlessly. In the days that followed, I found myself stepping into the role of an actress. A soft smile graced my lips. Giggled softly. I inquired about his day just as I once did. I pressed my lips to his in a tender farewell, whispering my hopes for his safety as the day began. I prepared his beloved dishes and thoughtfully arranged a little escape for the two of us. He nodded, a flicker of uncertainty in his eyes. He mentioned that he was bound by work commitments. I feigned a sense of understanding. What he remained unaware of was that I had already started to weave the threads of our unfolding story. I reached out to a lawyer. Not for separation. Still, I was simply seeking some insights, guidance, possibilities. Then I began my own quiet investigation. Jessica's online presence was a treasure trove of information, shared more freely than was wise for someone in her position. A digital trail of breadcrumbs left on public profiles. She exceeded all expectations. In just a week, through careful observation of her public posts and digital footprints, I learned more about her than Mark might have ever realized. Her role at work, her rhythm of commitments, even the general neighborhood of the condo she chose to call home. It became clear that Mark had been quietly contributing to the expenses. I found myself at a crossroads, faced with two paths before me. Face him and unravel the complexities between you, or pause for a moment and allow the fragments to settle exactly where my heart desires. I embraced the latter option. Subtle retribution is a delicate craft, and I was on the brink of embracing my journey as an artist. I embraced a new opportunity, a genuine connection, wholeheartedly committed. I discovered an opportunity at a legal firm, beginning stage, yet unwavering. I held back from sharing with Mark immediately. I took advantage of the time he spent working late to immerse myself in training. When I finally shared my feelings, a look of surprise crossed his face. There's a hint of irritation lingering in the air. Yet, his smile lingered, and he expressed his pride in me. In that instant, I realized he was completely unaware of my intentions. He continued to see me as the woman he had once found so easy to deceive. I began to set aside some of my earnings. Each paycheck found its way into a hidden account, a secret he remained blissfully unaware of. I decided to cancel our joint credit card and mentioned that the bank had erred. He chose not to reach out again. I parted with some jewelry he had gifted me, those I never found appealing, and confided in him that I had lost them. He hardly registered it. I started to capture every moment. Messages that connect us. Memories captured on paper. Images. I grew increasingly attentive to detail, serene, and deliberate. The sole confidant I entrusted with my secret was my sister. She urged me to part ways with him without hesitation. She whispered words that seemed to dance in the air, names I never imagined she held in her heart. Yet I urged her to have faith in me. I felt compelled to follow my own path, and she surrendered to the moment. She extended an invitation to her guest room, a warm gesture should I ever find myself in need of a place to stay. One day she graciously offered her assistance, helping me lift a few boxes out of the house. In the moments when Mark found himself distant, attending a conference, at least that was his claim, the most challenging aspect wasn't the act of feigning. It was a revelation to see how effortlessly he navigated two worlds. How effortlessly he moved between warmth and deception. Yet I chose to rise above it all. I chose not to cry out or plead. I had no intention of letting tears fall in his presence or disrupting the calm of our space. I intended to carry a smile with me, lingering until the final moment, and then fade away, embracing my own choices. And so I lingered, heart full of anticipation. I observed, I envisioned, and the moment I felt prepared, I ensured he remained blissfully oblivious to the surprise that awaited him. I possessed all that my heart desired: evidence, utilize, essentials. But I wasn't merely stepping away. I intended to leave him with a memory that would linger in his heart forever. This was more than mere retribution. It was about taking back all that he believed he could shatter. My essence, my sanctuary, and my faith. And this was just the start of something beautiful. The days that followed unfolded like a delicate dance of strategy. Each movement I made was filled with purpose. Mark persisted in his playful act, unaware that I had transformed from the innocent, trusting partner he had taken for granted. He always returned home when the night was deep. He continued to send those lukewarm messages, filled with the chaos of his day. And I continued to respond with tender emojis and heartfelt words. Yet, beneath the surface of that smile, I was capturing every moment. And gradually, I was unraveling the existence he believed was securely anchored. Jessica was effortlessly traceable. She shared her thoughts frequently, perhaps more than was wise for someone entangled in a secret connection. Coffee moments, charming boutique finds, and delicate glimpses that never revealed Mark's face, yet always captured his watch or the soft reflection of his car's interior. Delicate hints, subtle and fleeting. I gathered them tenderly, as if assembling a cherished mosaic. I took the time to create a secure folder, carefully protected, where I kept every piece of digital evidence close to my heart. On certain days, I caught myself gazing at their images, driven not by envy, but by a deep sense of wonder. What did she believe she had gained? Mark started to take out more money from our accounts, beginning with small sums and gradually moving to larger withdrawals. He thought I was oblivious, as I seldom engaged with our finances before, but now I was acutely aware. I observed each transaction closely. I made it a point to connect each day. I took the step of speaking with the bank manager, requesting that they keep me informed about any significant cash withdrawals. I disguised it as mere caution. In the quiet moments, I shifted more resources into the concealed account, gently unwinding past investments tied to my name, and gradually transformed our intertwined existence into one that was solely within my grasp. I maintained a pristine home, ensured the fridge was stocked, and lovingly folded his laundry. I wished for him to remain unaware of the underlying tension, for the illusion of solace had to be perfect, and solace was the one thing he would never experience again. One evening, I shared with him my desire to host a cozy anniversary dinner, something intimate, just a handful of dear friends, a simple yet heartfelt gathering. His expression was one of unexpected wonder. "Are you still in the mood to celebrate?" he inquired. A soft smile graced my lips. "Absolutely," I replied. "Though marriage may have its imperfections, my love for you remains unwavering. I have always felt this way." He drew closer and pressed his lips gently against my forehead. A soft chuckle escaped me. The guest list was thoughtfully curated, featuring a handful of mutual friends, my sister, and a select few of Mark's colleagues, those who embodied responsibility and held family values dear. They were the type of individuals whose partners would never tolerate betrayal, creating an atmosphere where Mark would find it difficult to weave his usual tales. I meticulously arranged every element, from the exquisite food to the vibrant flowers and the soft glow of candles. I went ahead and ordered a personalized cake adorned with our names, adding a touch of authenticity to the moment. Mark made his entrance just before the guests, impeccably dressed, a bottle of wine in hand, exuding an air of anticipation. I welcomed him with a gentle kiss, expressing the joy that filled my heart at his return. He glanced around, a soft smile gracing his lips. "This is truly captivating." As the guests arrived, the living room blossomed with laughter, the gentle sound of glasses clinking, and the warmth of cherished memories weaving through the air. My sister took on the role of hostess alongside me, yet her gaze lingered on Mark. She sensed the inevitable approaching. She felt a stirring within her, a readiness that enveloped her like a warm embrace. After dinner, I rose to share a heartfelt toast. Mark's grip on my hand conveyed a sense of pride, or perhaps a gentle relief washed over him. He likely believed I was unaware, that I remained his unsuspecting admirer. I took a moment to gather myself and started to speak. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to everyone for being here. It holds deep significance to share this celebration with those who have been part of our lives for so long, who have witnessed our journey unfold together. Marriage, as we all understand, embodies the essence of love, trust, and sincerity. I lingered, gazing deeply into Mark's eyes. And at times it's about unveiling the essence of a person, particularly when they believe you're not observing. The atmosphere in the room transformed. The laughter slowly diminished. Mark's smile wavered, pressed on. Throughout the past year I've discovered the depths of patience, the sting of betrayal, and the resilience of strength. Tonight, I feel compelled to share something special with you all. I gently reached beneath the table, my fingers brushing against the cool surface as I retrieved a folder, a sense of anticipation lingering in the air. My hands remained steady. I gently unveiled it, placing it on the coffee table for all to admire. Images, documents, reminders, and cherished moments captured in time. There was no need for words. The proof revealed its own truth. Mark's complexion shifted to a ghostly hue. He attempted to utter a word, but I gently lifted my hand. Refrain. Simply take a moment to hear me out. I faced the group. This is the man I chose to share my life with. A man who believed he could weave deception, betray trust, and slip away unscathed. Yet, in his pursuit of a new beginning, he overlooked the quiet unraveling of everything I held dear. I approached the side table, my fingers brushing against the smooth surface as I picked up an envelope, then gently offered it to him. This comes from my legal representative. All the documents await you within. Legal documents, intricate financial details, and a comprehensive overview of what lies ahead. I have attended to every detail with care. He stood there, captivated, lost for words. The guests stood in stillness, captivated by the moment. My sister savored her wine, a playful smile dancing on her lips. And Mark, I added softly, you know corporate worlds are small. Anonymous tips about unprofessional conduct have a way of finding the right ears. I imagine Jessica's career might face some turbulence soon. Reputations are fragile things. He attempted to voice his objections. This is absolutely captivating. No, I responded softly. This is a profound sense of balance. Once the guests departed, I found myself in solitude within the living room. Mark had left in a rush, his voice resonating through the air as he engaged in a heated conversation on the phone. Perhaps Jessica, or perhaps his attorney. It held no significance. I had finally brought it to a close. Yet, the essence of retribution lay not in the meal shared or the spectacle of public disgrace. It was in the power I had reclaimed, the insight I had rediscovered, and the serenity with which I embraced each moment. He was not worthy of my anger. He never deserved my tears. He was met with a profound stillness. He embraced solitude. The following day, I stepped out of the house, leaving it behind for good. I had already committed to a lease for a new apartment nestled in a more serene part of the city, a space devoid of recollections, untouched by shadows. I embraced what belonged to me, cherishing it deeply, leaving the rest untouched. He could hold on to the house. The air was thick with unspoken truths. In my new space, I took my time to unpack, savoring each moment. I draped new curtains, tended to a delicate plant by the window, and ignited a candle that exuded the soothing essence of lavender intertwined with an elusive fragrance. Perhaps a sense of tranquility? A few days later, I received a message from Jessica. She expressed her regret, revealing that she had been unaware of the depth of her feelings, and it weighed heavily on her heart. I remained silent. What would be the purpose? She was never my adversary. She was merely another soul captivated by the allure of his words. Mark reached out to me as expected, left voicemails brimming with longing, uncertainty, and a hint of yearning. I found myself drifting away from their words. The final words I caught were him expressing, "I never imagined you possessed this within you." That one brought a warm smile to my face. He was indeed correct. I was unaware of this depth within myself as well. Yet, betrayal has a unique ability to stir emotions within you that have long remained dormant. Elements that understand the art of safeguarding, the beauty of strategizing, and the grace of ascending. And I still had more to give. Once the divorce papers were signed and Mark's messages faded into silence, a sense of victory eluded me. A sense of liberation washed over me. At times, embracing one's own liberation can be the most profound form of retribution. The apartment I had just moved into held a serene stillness, a fresh canvas awaiting the brushstrokes of life. Yet gradually, it began to embrace me as if it were my own sanctuary. I adorned the shelves with the books that captured my heart, rather than those we feigned to explore together. I acquired a delicate little plant, nurturing it with care to ensure its survival. I filled the mornings with music, allowing the gentle breeze to flow through the open windows, embracing the essence of a life that felt truly my own. Mark's world shifted dramatically when the truth was revealed, leading to the loss of his job. Whispers traveled quickly, particularly as Jessica's exit stirred curiosity and intrigue. A handful of colleagues shared their narratives, gentle yet unwavering, revealing a portrait of a man who was not only disloyal in his marriage, but also in his professional commitments. His allure fell short this time, and I found myself effortlessly embraced by the moment. That's the essence of truth. It moves softly, yet it always finds its way to you. Our paths crossed again fleetingly, in the soft glow of a grocery store, where I caught a glimpse of Jessica after all had unraveled. She averted her gaze swiftly, a flush of embarrassment coloring her cheeks. I let her continue. I remained silent, my gaze steady and unyielding. I strolled by her, not in a spirit of forgiveness, but because she had faded into insignificance. Neither did he. I embarked on a new journey, creating a supportive community for women navigating the complexities of betrayal, divorce, and manipulation. Not as a guide or authority, just a soul who has experienced it and emerged on the other side. I sat with them, listening to their tales, and offered a glimpse of my own. Observing them discover their voice rekindled my own in a beautiful way. One evening I lingered by my window with a warm cup of tea, gazing at the serene street beneath me. A car glided past, moving with a gentle grace. For a fleeting moment I wondered if it could be Mark. Yet it was not as it seemed. It held no significance in the end. If he were to return, he would encounter an unfamiliar soul in place of the woman he once knew as his wife. The ache had faded away. The fury had softened. What lingered was a connection that transcended everything. Lucidity, tranquility, strength. Mark will carry the weight of his actions within him for all his days. But what about me? I will embrace a life of serenity, free from disturbance, whole and complete. Because I didn't merely turn my back, I embraced the path ahead. And I will always move forward.